So upper neck, spine, pain in the neck. What do we do about it? I'm getting all these questions about upper spine, neck, and what to do. And the thing is that when you are struggling with a neck pain, you don't want to do something with the neck to fix it. You want to work a little bit away from the neck. Okay? And what I would like to talk about today is something that is seemingly far away from the neck, but is an amazing way to address neck reorganization. And the way to do that is through the pelvic clock. So you may have heard of the pelvic clock, and today I will introduce an element regarding the pelvic clock that may open something up for you and may make it a little bit easier for you to work with that. Okay? So I would like to speak more about how we view movement when we go to the pelvic clock. And it's very, very different from the way physical therapists or other practitioners work with the pelvic clock. So we look at the musculature around the pelvis. We want to differentiate between extrinsic and intrinsic muscles. We want to pay attention to the fact that we are doing very slow, subtle, gentle, minimal movements, which means we're going to activate the intrinsic muscles, not the big superficial ones. So I would like to show you what that looks like, and it may look like almost nothing. Okay? It will be a very subtle movement, and today I'm wearing black pants, which is not going to be so easy to look at, but you might see some details. Let's see. I'm going to lie on my back, bend my knees, stand my feet, and have a sense, for starters, what's going on with my pelvis. Where am I resting? And then I begin to very, very softly, barely moving at all, roll the pelvis ever so slightly up so that the lower back becomes a tiny bit flatter. And then I go in the opposite direction and bring the tailbone, the coccyx, a little bit down towards the floor. And as I continue to do these very simple two movements, moving forward and back, and even though those movements are so tiny and so small and only using the deeper muscles, the psoas and the other muscles that are deeper in the pelvis, none of the giant abdominals and hip flexors, even though this is such a small movement, it goes to my head. It goes to my head because the spine is very interconnected. Okay? And this interconnectedness is the key to why we like to work with the pelvis when we want to help a compromised neck. Okay? So I'll leave it at that. This lesson is much bigger, and it's a clock. It's not just going from 12 to 6, as you may have just seen. But it's much more complex. It continues to be very subtle. But you begin to see the connection between the pelvis and the head and how they move together, how they echo each other, and how these subtle movements in the pelvis actually do go to the head, especially when we begin to be more and more careful about exactly how we move, comparing the two sides of the spine, comparing the two sides of the pelvis, and noticing little details, differentiating tiny things, paying attention to our ability to make a circle once we get to the clock, for example, that is more whole, that touches upon all the different numbers around the rim of the clock, and not just doing the clock that we like to make because it's a cool feeling. Okay, this is a lesson. These are learning processes. It's not just a feel good, and it's not just a strengthening thing. There's nothing about that has to do with strengthening. This is about organizing, retuning, recalibrating, and as a result, we heal. Thank you for watching.